Heavenly Father, Lord, as we come here before you, we're thankful, Lord, for another day that you've given us. Lord, we ask for your guidance this evening. Lead us and guide us, Lord, as we give you the praise, the glory, the honor, and all things, Lord, in Jesus' precious holy name we pray. Amen.
Harry, listen, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have approval of minutes from June the 30th and from the beer board on June the 30th, which is in your package. Oh yeah, they're down here. You got the wrong packet.
Read something else.
Oh. You got yours there? There's an extra packet here. You got yours? Okay.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the rear board meeting and the last hearing of,
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're making that one. Okay. Then committee reports. Chief, you have the chief's report here, and we have some other things to discuss that it's not on there. Once you have a chance to review the chief's report. Anyone have any questions for the chief? You don't? Chief, we'll make sure we got this correct. Officer Dykes, in which he had let you know, as well as we had Officer Brown, he resigned as of the 27th
Yes, ma'am.
of this month because he took a better job, which, of course, as we told Officer Dykes, we appreciate him, and he's still going to be as a fill-in and maybe transferring some skills to Officer Brown, the training officer, is that
Yes.
correct? And then we did receive, if you look, I think you have it in your packet, another resignation as of August 1st. Officer Womack has been off for a while, and he, about 3 months, Sarge?
Yeah, by this will be 3 months he's been on.
That he's dealing with some health issues, and he had hoped to stay. He gave us a letter that he really appreciated. Okay, the fire department's going to call. Bye, guys.
thank you, bud.
And so, that he appreciated working with us. He'd been blessed to work with all of us and with the center, but due to health reasons that he could not continue working. And of course, he mentioned in here, working with a fine chief prior to Chief McNeese, Chief Lee McParker, but he will be resigning as of August
August
1.
1st.
So the recommendation that the chief has made is that we have Officer Hill would be transferred up to sergeant. He would get a $1 an hour raise, is that correct for now? And in 3 months be reviewed? And so that would put him right at $15 an hour, correct?
Yeah, put him at 15 in 3 months review upon review of the board and myself, and also get him another pay raise in 3 months. I'm agreeable with that.
And because
He's got a lot of responsibility.
Sergeant.
Also, as David Brown, he's gonna suffer a lot of responsibility too.
Well, see, Dennis had been here 9 years and he
Yeah.
was making $15.50 is the reason the 3-month review. And so, and then of course, transferring Officer Brown, as the training officer, and he'd be doing towers, and he would get a raise to $14.75 and then be reviewed in 3 months of his position. Because Officer Dox was doing that and he had been here 12 years,
Wherever.
That's correct.
whenever he resigned. So, if y'all want to
I
deal
got
with
two
those.
major gaps to fill with these
With
two
those
veteran
two
officers
first.
leaving.
Okay with that?
I'm okay with the review in 3 months that we can get them a pay raise. I think that's fair. We review their performance.
Yeah.
And then if they can, and if they want to continue doing it, they may step up in 3 months and say, this is too much responsibility, I don't want to do it anymore.
So, and that
So
way,
I think it's a fair assessment at this point. I got two major gaps to fill, losing Dennis and Dwayne, two veteran officers that was a very big part of our department. So to fill these gaps with these two stepped up without even asking for a pay raise when I asked them if they agreed to it. So that's admirable on their point, but I feel like they need to be compensated for the other responsibility that they do.
But just for clarification, Chief, Hill will move into the position of sergeant, $15 an hour with a review in 3 months,
That's correct.
and Officer Brown will become the training officer at $14.75 per hour with the same review.
The same review in 3 months.
Okay.
and that's 75 cents and $1 an hour raise for these two gentlemen. So, is that agreeable with the board? You want to make?
Yes, me, is it okay with
Yeah,
you?
that's very
I
agreeable.
want everybody to be happy, because
Yeah.
I really think both the officers we're moving up, we haven't had them as long as we had Dwayne and
Yeah.
Womack, but they're both good officers.
They're both really good officers, and I think they do a tremendous job in the position they're in.
I would make a motion that we accept the chief department head's recommendation to move Officer Hill up to the position of sergeant at $15 an hour with a review in 3 months, and Officer Brown into the training officer position at $14.75 an hour with the same review in 3 months.
That's correct.
I will second.
And then the next item for us to deal with, of course, we had two fill-ins. We've discussed this, but it was on a temporary basis, but the chief has already had physicals. At that one time, it was when I say Officer Greg Higgins was the first that you recommended for hire. Based upon you did the background checks on both officers. His physical was done in this.
It's done this morning, and they were signed by the doctor that he is physically fit to be a
And that's
police officer.
Dr. Tressler.
That's
was
correct.
using. And then, of course, with Dennis's resignation or retiring, then Officer Larry Sims is the other fill-in we had that would be available to step into that role. So the chief has recommended that we hire both of these gentlemen full-time in those two positions, which would be standard officers for the town. And you've got background checks, well, I know the references have been done on some, and the physicals have done.
And
And
so
they-
we're even going deeper. We do a post requires a fingerprint where it goes nationwide. I do my background check, which is local, that I could do, and then also do the nationwide background check. So subject to all of that, if they pass, I'm sure they will. They pass the extensive background check that we're doing. I asked the council that we go ahead and hire both of them full time.
I make a motion with the approval of the board that we hire both Higgins and Sims to the two vacant spots we have in the police department.
Second.
All in favor? Another thing we had discussed, Alderman Harmon brought to my attention, I discussed it with the chief today, it would not be an officer's position. But we have reserve officers that do certain things, but at times we all know there was some confusion of what they could do and not do. And there is, I don't know if Debbie printed it out or not, we have the school guard in the mowing, in which can be utilized for the Marion County school system. But was it 5 hours a day, Terry?
Well, we kind of figured it an hour and a half in the mornings and an hour and a half in the evenings, which would be about 6 hours, but that, I brought this to Marilyn, and I don't know if she agrees with it or not, but I'd like to see us hire somebody, not an officer, not somebody in uniform, somebody just in their own vehicle with a stop sign in their hand and an orange vest on to direct the traffic, and then have the officer on duty watching the school zone for speeders or whatever. And if the council so, sees fit to do that, maybe find somebody retired or just somebody just to, because, it don't make any difference. You got an auxiliary officer in the school zone, you ain't got a ticket. He's just gonna direct traffic, that's all he's gonna do. And not have somebody up there with handcuffs and a gun on, just somebody in regular clothes with an orange vest on and a stop sign in his hand on one side and go on the other side.
Several cities around us do that.
That's what they do. I went and looked at them.
Chattanooga does it.
And it works real good.
I know Franklin County's doing, that's what Aaron and I were talking about, so earlier.
Tell
Said an
them.
hour and a half, so if we said maximum 4 hours per day.
Yeah,
And then it would be 5 days a week. This individual would post the job part-time, so just be a part-time employee. There will be, and we'll address that in a minute, some reimbursement with the liquor by the drink tax in which that we pay Marion County for this position. We post it, and as Harry says, somebody retired, we're not looking for a police officer, but somebody that would have an extensive background check, because they will be there with children. They could do this. It frees up an officer to be there to watch the school zone if they need to leave, and also an officer in the town. So if the board is agreeable, and we did talk to Mark, we would have to amend the budget, but we could do that to be able to do it. And of course, if they're part-time, we'll have to decide. $9, $10 an hour,
may not go anywhere, but I'll make the motion, we do so.
Well, if you did 3.5 hours, not to exceed 4, a week, that'd be 20 hours, so, what, $9 an hour starting out? I don't know, without a minimum amount of time, because it's at least the
What's
travel.
your opinion on that, Chief? What
I'm
type of
comfortable with it.
subsidy would we-
I've had several people that's come to me and have asked about that to me personally, that's willing to do that. If they said they would volunteer with the city willing to pay, I'd say we'll have a lot more that would want to do it. But you have, it doesn't have to be a male, female, whatever.
Oh, you got
It's
They get meaner.
It's very cost effective for me. It frees my officer up. He can sit there and work the school zone, write tickets, whatever needs to be done.
I wouldn't have brought this up, but I've seen it in other places.
Anyway,
You
working
feel,
at the
you
speed.
feel an hourly rate of $8.75 to start would be fair?
I think that's a fair price, yes.
And,
We
It's
add
$1
that to your
over the
motion?
minimum wage.
Yeah, I'll add it to the motion of, starting at $8.75 an hour for a maximum of 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. And like I said, I'm making the motion that we gotta find somebody that's retired. Somebody does not have to depend on that for a full-time job. But somebody, and also like Maryland, I like to see a back, check. You can't have nobody up around the kids,
You gotta be careful with
Well, we
around
could-
children. That's
we
not,
would
that's not a
post the
problem.
position
Yeah.
as policy, but as you say, and then find someone, then they would have more of an extensive background check than, as Virgil does with his officers in that way, because we are placing, with their kids. And, then see how it works, at least, y'all want to go ahead and just try for, say.
I've seen it in
the
other
first day of
places,
the
the only
school
reason I
year.
brought it up,
So-
it works in Crawford County and a lot of other places.
So, you want
Another reason
make
that
a
would
motion.
help is, the officer that we had there working full-time, he explained to me over the summer that he
There you
probably
go.
won't be able to do school zone next year.
well, it's hard to get a
Auxiliary that was
volunteer
doing it, so.
to
Yes, it
always
is.
do things.
Yes,
So,
it is.
we have a motion, $8.75 an hour, for not to exceed 4 hours a day, 20 hours a week, and there would be a crossing guard, is that what you call them?
Basically,
Yeah, and we'll post the position and run it for 2 weeks, and then go from there, and we'll call you all like we always do, with the hiring, and see what references are made, if they pass the background check. Is that,
Suits me.
all right, we got a second? Any discussion? Alvin?
No, I'm good.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
and we'll get Mark to amend the budget for this. Okay. Chief, do you have any?
Now, that'll have to come back up, right? The budget, we'll have to vote.
Well, the amount we've approved, but to amend the budget for this position, it will have to come back
Right,
up.
okay.
Just, we got an amendment in here tonight for some things that Mark had,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, thank you all.
Things are-
Do you have a fireman's report there, Aaron?
Well,
gotta
I don't
call.
know that I'm gonna be able to read, because they told me they was gonna show it to all of us. They told me that when they got in there and got to looking, that any of the stuff that was on the computer from previous had all been wiped out. So they've got something here that kind of tells you about the calls. And then they, on the vehicles, I don't know, without them being here to show it to me, each vehicle they went over, and that's about all they have in this right here is each vehicle, what they did to them or what was normal. And I told him that we need to sit down with him and work out something where he's got a sheet on the vehicles.
Well, if it's okay with the board, since
It's just
they
fuel.
got a fire call, and they know what they're explaining to us and didn't have a cover sheet, can we address this at our next meeting? Yes, because we don't understand.
If Mary, you want me to sit down with him, when we got time, and let him fix him a sheet, and then run copies off and use it every month, I suggest to him putting all the vehicles on one sheet. And if he had some work done on one, attach the paper that's about to work. Because what he done is tried to go through and put all the mileages and everything on these.
We'll look at the
And
spreadsheet.
it's not anything that, it's real hard to, what they've done, they just tried to do it to nothing to go by.
We'll get Minnie to do it, she can go down there and fix it.
But if
for
they
us.
had a sheet, just put all the trucks on it, and then they have the sheet that tells their calls and stuff, I think it'd be a lot easier on them. And it's easier for us too, because you look down one sheet and see what's wrong with the truck, instead of looking at every one of them. See, they got one for each truck, they got their fuel tickets and everything.
Minnie's up here so many days a week, and she's got Excel in there, and she can sit down, if you down there, they'll let her review it, and then that way she can put it online for them. And that way, if you'll, Jay, or is Jeremy still working on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So,
they
next week.
just told me they wanted to do it so we'd have something to look at, but also they didn't have anything to go by. And they were kind of in the dark, so they did it on their own and did pretty, real good, but it's just something that's hard for us to,
Well, if you will,
I'm not real smart no way.
we'll get with them and get Minnie with y'all, and whatever you think it needs, then get that, and I'll have it for the next meeting, and let them explain if that's all
Okay.
right.
That's
And because she can print it, she works with an office there.
Like I said.
What is
smart
that,
enough.
is that a service sheet that they're fixing that, or what's it?
I think it's
It's just
everything.
for each vehicle, like we had them before, there's a sheet on there that said 261, oil check, and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Where I think they just need to put one slot on each, on the same piece of paper. And if there's anything wrong with the truck, then have something added for that, otherwise just put okay. I don't think they need to go through and mark every one, the oil pressure, oil
Right.
level, transmission level, tires check, 36 pound, whatever. But I mean, I think they could do it that way, and it'd be easier on us to read, because we'd have it on one piece of paper. It'd be easier on them to fill out. I think they just come up with something a lot easier than what they've got here.
So if that works with you, we'll table
That's
this, and
fine.
we'll get with Minnie
That's
and you
fine.
and them, and let her just fix it with.
They're
any
trying
suggestions.
hard to do it, but they just didn't have nothing to go by.
Okay. So we'll move to the next one. Planning Commission just met, and got rezoning here, but we didn't address that tonight, that I'm aware of. Are you aware of us addressing it? So that'll be for later. But we do have an ordinance for the mobile food units, which the Planning Commission did pass a loan, and I think, did we even do a reading on this yet?
Yeah, we did.
So is this the second one?
It was in the minutes, so this will be the second reading.
Okay, because it wasn't on here, so I couldn't overlook that. What number did that have on it? You know, I still didn't have a number on it.
All I see is 0714.
What was that out of?
I don't have that one you're talking
Well, that's what I'm saying, it's not on their agenda sheet, but
about.
we did the first reading on the ordinance to have mobile food units in the town, which there are individual bases on the operator, which they're approved by our codes enforcement officer once it goes through the proper channels. So, okay.
14, we did it on second reading.
Okay, so it has been, because I have been, okay, so this is taken care of. Never mind, we'll look at it. go back to next. City recorder is actually out at the commission meeting getting her notary approved, so that's what she did. John,
Yes, ma'am.
just whatever.
I had a 5-page report, and I let Terry see it, and he must have just paged it, so I don't know what
He ain't quit, he's still doing it.
happened.
And I ain't quit, I blame me.
That is, well, that's what you just did. So I know that you're working on getting some bids for us for the boring under the road. Did you get that from Fringe yet?
No.
And you're also working on another project, and Carl talked about a water line switch over to get a price on that.
And Summerfield Road.
Right.
I did get a price on the digging, but that's all.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying, the total price. And so, and I know that you've had issues with the sewer plant, which have been addressed, and
Right.
you had 4 or 5 lines bust that you had to work.
Yeah, well, we had, out here, across the interstate, had 2 inch, you know, had lightning hit 6 inch out there in the woods, not 40 foot out of the ground. Got a backhoe stuff, had to get track hole in there, then we had to get a bulldozer to pull the backhoe out. But anyway, everything's back to work.
No, you had mentioned to me, and of course, I was just gonna bring it before the board's attention, I think I've got those pictures. Whenever we went in and looked at how that people are building landscaping around the meters, that we need
Run the
to,
fire plug,
yeah, around those
yeah.
fire things. Well, I think I've got the picture with me. I didn't make copies of it. One of the things, there's a fire plug here.
Really?
And so, and what we had to do, yeah, there is a fire plug there. And in the midst of the landscaping. So, and I'll show this to you, Harry. One of the things we will have to go through the process is creating an ordinance saying, because the individual wanted to know where to replace it. Well, there is no ordinance that says you can't decorate it, but if we remove it, that's the reason we took the pictures, to see there was no damage to it, Harry. So we're going to have to create an ordinance saying, if you decide to decorate it, it's in there.
No, we've already went out there once, it's been a long time ago, and told him about this. And we cut it all back where you get to it, because it's really a shame that if they have fire out there, they can't get that fire plug. And he's been told he can't do that.
Well, but we need an ordinance to make it stick. We can't just make it, you
So
know.
I think there was something, somewhere in the ordinance about that.
Carl brought something up to me the other day. You know, we was talking about that board go across the road there to tie the lines in. He said if we do this board, which is sensible, he said if we do this board and get the 6-inch lines tied in across the interstate, that'll discontinue the 6-inch line going under the interstate. We don't need it. That'll discontinue. If we do this, we can move the fire plug from there to the other side of the road. Get it over on the water line side, where it's at, you know. And that way it wouldn't be in this guy's parking lot.
Well, we need,
As of right now, the fire plug don't even work. It don't work. It ain't worked in a year and a half or something.
well, it was working when we was out there at Dagon, we cut it back and turned it on.
Well,
But you had to hunt it now, we cut all the bushes down.
yeah, something's happened to the valve, and I got R&W contractors come up, and we looked for an isolating valve. There wasn't an isolating valve, so we're gonna have to dig the whole fire plug up. And I told Carl, while we had it dug up, instead of putting the kit in, we might as well put a new fire plug in, and put an isolating valve there. Cause there's no need buying a kit, cause I think we got 3 fire plugs waiting for a shop.
Well, right now, even if it did work, it wouldn't matter,
No.
because you couldn't use it.
But the thing, you know, and we will have from MTS, according to the director of MTS, all of our ordinances zoning within 4 weeks. Sent back to us. I know they've had them a long time, but this was actually from the director.
Lex, do you remember when we went out there? Was there an ordinance on that, and he couldn't block that?
What would they need to be ordinance if it's obstructing a
I
fire?
think there is one, that's why we
Well,
went
so
out
we
there.
don't know, but we need, that's the thing John and I were talking about. If we let them know you cannot do this, and it is an obstruction, then you don't go into the hassle of somebody planning, and if they do, they don't expect us to replace it.
I think there's
Because,
something to cover it. We'd have to look it
I
up.
think there is, and he was told when I was there, one of them that told him was me, you can't do that. I'm sorry, we wish you could, but you can't. And he was told, if it's the same guy that was out there then, unless they've changed, because, you know, they change from cousin to whatever, you know. If they haven't changed owners of that, that man's been told he can't do that. I'm telling you, I was out there.
well, what we can do when we get MTS is, and we get our stuff back from MTS, we can review it, and then if there's not, see what we need to put in place to where it doesn't happen. Because John and I were talking about, because he was wanting to know if we would replace it, and we're like,
And I
that's
think
the reason we
that would
took
fall under
pictures.
some kind of fire code. I don't know.
I don't remember
Cheapest
how it
man.
was, but there was something on it.
The only good thing about the cross ties being there, a truck might hit them before they tear the fire plug out. That's the only good thing. Still.
If you got a truck driver done enough wrong with the fire truck, the cross ties, he'll get the fire plug too.
Well, probably.
Yeah.
I used to drive a truck, but I wasn't a truck driver. That's the difference.
He done the same thing.
Well, that's just something to be noted now. We can see once we get to what we really got now, what Harry's talking about, and what we need to do for the future, so it doesn't happen. So is there anything else that,
Well, while we're on the subject of John, I was gonna wait till the Auburn part to bring this up. Can I bring it up now? John, I talked to John the other day, and he asked me, and I got this paper, and I believe I told you about it, but I'm sure they don't know about it. But, he really needs some radios. And what we had talked about, of course, every radio we own is, they're against the law if they did work, because of the ban. The man from Motorola said he wouldn't even fix one of them because it's against the law to run them. I don't know what, I mean, I ain't smart enough to know that, something about the bans and or something. So, I told Virgil when he called about the patrol car to get this man to work us up some kind of quote so I can bring it to the mayor and Alderman to look at for 5 radios. Well, this is not exactly correct because they put this on there twice. It's $750 installation. It's on there twice. It's right there and right here. So actually, it's $37.72 for 5 radios, 5 antennas, 5 installations on 5 different figures. John said he needed 5, and so we take that off. So it's going to be around $3,000 for the 5 radios. And I want the council to see that quotation because I really
$3,100 for 5 radios, 5 antennas, and installation for the utility vehicles, John?
Yeah. There'll just be 3 channels on it. It'll be the one here at City Hall. It'll be the talk around the police department and the repeater at the police department. So in case they're off somewhere and they need to get hold of 911 or dispatch, they can call them. They'll be on their channel.
They'll have their own channel.
Yeah, they got their own channel. But if they got off somewhere, let's just say at night when there's nobody to talk to and they need to get hold of dispatch, tell them something, they can holler at dispatch.
And believe me, when you're out hunting the water leak, they would come in handy. It's hard to dial a cell phone and try and look, see what people's check, other things.
Well, I have no doubt you need them, and we've had them for years, but the ones we had for years are just obsolete. If we could get them fixed, the ones we got, but the man from Motorola said he wouldn't fix one of them because they're a different band, right, Virgil? There's some kind of band in them that's different, and he won't fix one, they're against the law.
So if we estimate and taking that $750 out twice, it would be like $3,100 for the radios installation for the utilities. So,
What's your feeling as far as any type of a competitive bid would be required?
I think it's 5,000 or less, but we can confirm that if it's needed. We can do that. As far as running,
we can
contingent
also
upon
else.
that. You know what I'm
That-
saying? And I think we need to do that on anything that's product related. So contingent upon if we can put the bids out there and see if we can get 2 more, and if not, if we can approve the
Is that 31, so we could approve
Well,
$3,200?
it's $37.72 minus $750, so it'd be around $3,022.
As there's out there 31,
31.
not to exceed it based upon,
And we're gonna get another bid.
the bidding process being followed properly. That'd be the only thing, it'd be contingent, and you can do that via email, and to make sure it's done right if we need to post it.
Well, I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. So we'll take care of that tomorrow. Do we have the paper?
Well, I mean, I don't care to call somebody, John, and find somebody's good
We'll
bid,
just-
I don't care to do it, I'll do
We'll
it.
get 2 more, and then we'll have them, and I don't think we have to run.
Now, they messed up when they give us this one, because they put the installation on there twice, exact same amount, same number and everything. They just didn't realize what they was doing.
John, what was the other piece of equipment that you said you guys needed? I'm not gonna try to say what it was, because you tell me, because I'll get it wrong.
Oh, the track hole?
Yes. That they've had issues with lines, and as we repair lines and fix lines, that the utility department needs a track hole instead of, at times when they have to dig them out and stuff.
Sometimes they're better than a backhoe.
Well, the leak we had the other day, of course, we called Randall Henley, he brought his rubber track hole out there. Rubber track hole. He come right in there and they dug it out, If it hadn't been for him, we wouldn't got to figure out, because our backhoe was sitting about 50 feet over there and sunk down. I mean, it was sunk. And I ain't saying you have to buy it right now, just something to look at
Right.
in time, you know.
Their ballpark figure was, what do you think?
Well, now I asked Randall on his, of course, his is a Kubota, brand new one, and I think he told me $60,000. But now, you know, it don't have to be a brand new one, because I'm sure he uses his a lot more we use. But around different places, several places, you know, they could be one used. They could be used. You can find a good
You're a
use.
nice fellow in there, just.
Would you feel comfortable start looking for one over the next month, and that would have to be bid out, it would have to be
Right,
posted,
yeah.
to where we could add it to the next meeting to look at it
Yeah.
and development, as we hopefully resolve some other issues that Harmon's working on for us.
Right. And another thing, when we're talking out at the water plant, and I talked to them, from Joel and them down there a long time ago. Chlorine gas, they still use chlorine gas, and it's dangerous. A lot of people's changing. And I told Brian, I talked to Brian the other day, to get a hold of Muhammad, to see the procedures about doing this. And he said what we'd have to do is draw up a sketch, which is the same thing I done when I changed over sewer. Draw up a sketch where the tank, where we would set the tanks, where the pump, where the bleach would be injected, and get through an engineer, get their seal on, send it into the state. Because he said a lot of people, water plants and all, is doing this to get away from this chlorine gas. I don't know if y'all know it or not, but Richard got into it one evening last week, or Monday. No, it's a Monday. Yeah, I think last Monday it was. No, it wasn't. It was the day we cleaned the tank out, whatever that was. But anyway, he got some of it. Well, you know, chlorine gas is heavier than air, and it goes down. If you ever fall down, you're gone. I mean, that's it, you're gone. Ain't no way around. But we've talked with Chad at Dyco, and he come up and talked with Brian about it. And I think if it would be a good thing to change over and get rid of chlorine gas just for safety issues.
You said you talked with Mohammed and Angela, right, about the processing.
Brian, well, Angela's on the sewer side, Mohammed's one on the water side. And he said that they didn't have a problem. You know, we'd have to get the sketch and get the engineer to sketch it out and see it. The engineer got to look at it. They won't take nothing out of the engineer. And he said there wouldn't be a problem with it. Both water plants and sewer plants all over is changing this on account of the health of the gas.
And if it's a health concern, we have no choice but to fix it based upon you getting the work done. I just-
See, really by law, they're not supposed to change the cylinder unless, I think it's 2 men. They're not supposed to change the cylinder unless they got 2 men with them. I just think it'd be, you know, something we could go ahead and look further into and see about changing it for the safety of it.
Well, based upon that direction that you said it's a health issue, then you have no choice but to call the engineer that you're, comfortable with.
Right.
Get the sketch and then, take care of it, because we
See,
can't.
several years ago, my brother-in-law worked out there, and of course, this chlorine gas is vented out the roof. Well, it was, something happened to it, and it was vented, and he didn't know this. And he went around the building, and he got into a box of that chlorine gas, and he spent 5 days in the Florida hospital with chemical pneumonia.
So we can't.
You
so-
can,
It's just dangerous.
you can draw this sketch up and get it to,
Yeah, but you still have, I've done that down at my place. I drawed it all up, and they didn't accept it.
so we need to get
And
it.
then the engineer we had at that time took my drawing and put it on there and wrote a few notes and stuff, put his seal on it, sent it back, and accepted it.
So based upon it having been a health issue, we have no choice but to work with the engineer and go ahead and get it done and send about replacing it.
Well, I think it'd be a good thing.
So, we
I
have
think it'd
to,
be a good
just
thing.
whoever, contact the engineer and get it done, because we can't have someone getting sick or
I mean, it's
injured.
been there for years, but like I say, a lot of people's changing on account of the danger of it. And I don't know why, but years ago, Ann Rochelle, when I stayed inspector at that time, she made me buy a $1,500 emergency repair kit. and I was the only one on top of the mountain that had it. Must not like that, huh? Anyway, she made me buy one, but it's still sitting down there in the store. Of course, luckily, I never had to use it. But even with them small cylinders, if you have a rupture in it, you're supposed to evacuate, I forget what, pretty good area. What's that chlorine gas, because it don't rise, it lays down and travels.
How long do you think it'll take to get this done?
Why, it won't take long to get the bats and stuff in there. I mean, it won't take long to get set up.
30 days, Liz, month.
Yeah. Get everybody on the ball, it'll take that long.
So by next meeting, you can report the change out?
Probably.
Well, I would move that the utility director be authorized to contact the mechanical engineer of his choice, ask for a request for quotation on engineering design, services, and approximate material cost.
You will get that.
I'll second.
If you can, be prepared to present that at the next meeting or before.
If you do before, we can have a special meeting, because it is a health issue. You know, if you get it, we'll just, can do it that way, because that's when it comes into safety and people's livelihood. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Anything else, John?
That's all.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Oh, he's got a longer list. Hey, that's when you get an email. No, thank you. We do appreciate it. Okay. All right, we'll go to codes enforcement. Sorry.
You guys got my report in front of you. The only change is actually, you'll go down to the second from the bottom on that list where it says signs violation, notices, and follow-up. Lexi made copies, and I thought he gave her.
Yeah, I did that.
You didn't put
Laid
one
them all
on.
up here.
I don't have them.
But the planning commission people got
They
it.
probably do. They're taking them, because I don't have one either. So,
I've got one here.
all right,
Anyway,
just,
well, I got, there's
Yeah,
mine.
we'll look
I
at
think there's a
yours.
couple over here.
here, we'll share it, yeah.
Anyway, long story short, I put 0 there, and that's sign violations and follow-up, needs to be 1. And, my intention is, we've done everything the ordinance allows, and the next logical step, which I'm fixing to do, is cite this person to Monteagle City Court. Outside of that, if you have any questions about my report, I'll be glad to try to answer anything. Here's a couple of more.
The only question I had was about the one you're talking about. That's the only question I had. I know we started talking about this quite some time ago, and I knew it hadn't been done, and, you know, of course, you was on vacation and on the beach.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I couldn't answer about it because I didn't talk to you, but anyway, you brought to my attention to start with.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and, I was just kinda wondering about it myself.
Well, I mean, I'll be glad to go into detail if y'all want to hear them. Just depends on what y'all want.
Didn't you tell me there was another one that was down to the liquor store, was doing the same thing? Or did you tell me that?
I did
dream that?
tell you that,
Okay.
and I need to call that person about that one. I don't think that's gonna be an issue.
I thought you said something, or
But
somebody.
anyway,
How many outstanding do you have now, letters?
only one, there's just one that I know of.
Okay, so you've got the one, you followed suit, so now it's time to sign them, and then address those that,
Yeah, and the deal on that one, the person told me if I just give them 30 days, if they were going out of town, and they knew they was gonna take care of it, and they would be back, as soon as they got back, they'd get them down, and we pinned it down to 30 days, and that was the 22nd of June.
and we've exceeded 30
And this
days.
is the 28th of July.
Did you help her that the men do lie?
They're still, well, yeah, anyway, that's the next logical step.
Women don't, but men do.
And the other thing that I have is, as far as business permits go, I have a business permit application from New Wave Tan and Salon. And, actually, I've not been there, and I would recommend y'all, temporarily extend the business permit until I can get down there and then make it permanent at the next meeting, because I don't know if the lady's here or not.
That's. So Natasha, since you're here, we'll just go ahead and review that, because what he just has made a recommendation that we do a temporary based upon council's approval, and then he'll review it, and then the next meeting it will come.
Okay.
So do that now?
And I'll get with you
Yeah, can we
next few
go,
days.
can we just make a
We'll walk
motion to
through it.
approve it unless he comes back with something
Tell
else?
you what we need
Well, I
to do.
think he has to sign
Okay.
it,
If anything.
so that's fine.
I mean, he can sign off
Yeah,
on that, we.
yeah. It's a temporary permit
Yeah,
till you,
I got
till you
one
bring
there.
it back to us, correct?
I got one.
So, and then you wouldn't have to come again, we could just let you know, based, if you didn't have any changes for you. If, nobody has a problem with the same place as down
They
the
hadn't
Joyce
changed
place.
anything,
I'll
have they?
make a motion.
Not my knowledge.
I'll second.
Uh,
Unless he comes back and says there's something wrong, but I'm sure that's not gonna happen, but we made a motion to do it,
So the
so.
motion is a temporary permit based upon, or bringing back the review that it's fine, and it'll be approved based upon that,
Yep.
correct?
We're just trying to keep him in to come back in.
Yeah. Yeah. Motion is second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anything
Yes.
else anybody has, I'll try to.
Call meets up.
I'm gonna hand this to you to say you've got it, because it was just given us today, it's really just some for review. It'll probably conflict with our own ordinance once we get them in, but that's a state change in how we have to notify people.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna give you a copy of it, because tonight we don't really need to address it anyway, so.
Okay.
And it's just so that people know there was a change. All right, we'll go to Alderman. Yeah.
Well, I got one thing. I got two things, really. Well, first off, I wanna find out what we found out on that mowing side of Lexi's. Son Adams' little property. They mowed the other one, that other one ain't been mowed yet. Whoever owns it, I don't know.
Okay.
I think they've been trying to get a hold of him today.
You haven't got any information on you were out of town, I think, when we, who was contacting?
But said that, I reckon Davey tried to call. They got a hold of the guy behind and he mowed it.
Well, now that one, Nate took care of that one.
Okay.
You're talking about Nate did that right
Oh,
after July
I
the
knew
4th.
that.
I know when that was
I knew
done.
that. That's when the one's been
We called
mowed.
them off, and the thing is that Earl just got, is that we've tried to contact them, we'll have to send them a letter and to notify them differently according to the state as of July the 12th with the ordinance. So what we're gonna do is just send a letter, before we can actually know it, because if they don't, then we're gonna bill them to take a lien on it, if that's how the state requires it. Right there's your notice.
Yeah, I just need you.
But they have, I know that there was attempts made, but there was no response to those attempts. Now, there was for the other lot, and Donna did take care of that. They had it real short.
I was just asking about that. My other thing is, and I believe I said something last meeting about it, I'm gonna make a suggestion. I've already talked to Merlin about it, is the problem at the dump. I had checked around some other surrounding counties about the way they handle theirs, because we're getting people coming in our dump, our convenience center, and dumping garbage from Boston and Philadelphia, and, I mean, they're everywhere except here. And then the people that live here, they can't go out there and dump because it's already full. And I had suggested that what's happening somewhere else is that we purchase stickers that go inside your windshield, and each resident that's gonna be dumping at that dump will buy a sticker for $10 a year. And that sticker will be on the inside there, on the front corner of their windshield. And if that sticker's not on that windshield, they don't dump. And that's what they do everywhere else. And then we will get rid of some of the people. In other words, you gotta come in here and buy your sticker, and you gotta show that you live here before you get your sticker. And then, of course, now, the council, and I'm not asking to do this now, I'm just bringing it to everybody's attention, that we probably need to sit down and work something out, because we're talking about, when I'm talking about $10 a month, I'm talking about a resident, like myself, or Marilyn, or Lex, or Alvin, or whoever lives there, and it'd be $10 a month. I don't think anybody that lives in the city of Monteagle is gonna fuss about that, because $10 a year to dump garbage out there, whereas right now, half the time, they can't go out there and dump their garbage because it's full. And I know I've done this in the past, where I was gonna throw some stuff away, and I'd go out there to look, see what kind of shape the dumpster's in before I even loaded it up, because you load it up and drive out there, you gotta leave it on your truck, because you ain't got nowhere to put it.
Now, you talking about the open tops, are you talking about bag garbage?
No, I'm not talking bag, I'm talking about the open top.
Well, I think we have an issue with the other also.
You do,
Oh, yeah, but
it's
you
it's
do.
everything.
Right now, I'm talking about
Okay.
Because, you know, somebody said to me one day, said, why don't y'all get some more dumpsters out there? And I said, I hadn't thought about that, man, that'd be good. Well, I got thinking about it a little bit, like I told you, I'm not too smart. And then if you had 10 dumpsters out there, it does not make any difference if they're all full. If you got 2 out there, or you got 10 out there, if they're all full, you still ain't got nowhere to put nothing. And our problem is getting them empty. And I'm just saying that if y'all put your heads together too, I mean, I'm thinking if we do this, you're gonna lose some of the people that live other places, let them take it to their convenience center, let them worry about it. Other than we're having to worry about the people that live in our city ain't got nowhere to dump their garbage. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I
Maybe you
understand.
think about what I'm saying, and I just thought I'd bring it in y'all's head a little bit.
I think, I agree 100% with you, and I think it's other reasons that contribute to the,
Empty,
yeah.
you're right.
But you can't do a lot about that one right now, because that'll change with time, you know, the next couple of months. But what Harry asked, and actually MTAS and the auditor, and they're looking at the code to make sure, our charter, we can't find anything in it, the current one we're using, you know, that says it prohibits it. But to making sure, Deb was talking to Mark today to make sure there's nothing wrong with state law of, you know, charging a minimum fee. And Harry had asked him, because he said there was a couple of counties, and he was gonna check how they set theirs up.
Right.
Because we do have a couple of commercial people that we allow to dump.
That was my next thing.
They would have to have a little different road.
Theirs is gonna be different.
But to follow the model and have it ready by next time and see what we can do.
I
Because,
think that's one of our problems of being pulled, the
Well,
pusher.
but they're supposed.
Talking to the guys, that's what they tell me.
And they're supposed to know, and we allow them to do it based upon it being residents in the town of Monteagle.
And it's all, it's
You know,
residents,
remember-
but it ain't them on it.
But that was what they agreed upon. And I mean, it's sad, we don't go out and scavenger right through the garbage to see
Right.
they're dumping. But this process would eliminate, as Harry said, a lot using a model. And then if people are breaking the rules, then we have to address that.
But if you go out there and sit and watch, any length of time at all, you're gonna sit there and watch them come in, and people you know don't live money. And they're dumping their garbage. And you know, and I don't want to lock nobody out of place dump their garbage, but the people in town of Monteagle are our first concern,
Yeah.
and then somebody else is second. And it'd be nice, and I don't think anybody's gonna fuss about $10 a year. And the only reason you charge $10 a year is to pay for the stickers, and somebody doesn't pay for it to sell the stickers. I mean, you know, we're really not gonna be,
And we could offer that as a service too, and not have to charge them.
yeah.
And it may be something that, you know, if it's a fixed income, they don't have to pay it. It's just a process of controlling, because it has got out of hand. I mean, we all know that. And we're open, 6 days a week now?
Yeah.
So we added the additional day, but as Harry said, I mean, him and I met today, if we got another container, what good we do if they keep filling up? So,
You
it's
got
up to
10 out there, ain't no good for full.
Well,
I think
tell
it's
you,
something that's
Mary, I
good
don't
looked
know
at.
if y'all know it, but most times, Carl makes 2 trips a
I
day.
know, that's what I told her today. He went out there and packed it down 30 minutes before I got there, and he was running over
He
again.
goes out there in the morning, goes out there,
Yeah.
and
So
drives
it's-
the backhoe out there and back.
But we got that in.
2 trips a day.
Send somebody out there.
So if you're agreeable, we'll have some type of format, know what we can do and can't do the next meeting.
And I'll try to check with the other counties that I've talked to and see exactly how they do it. There can't be nothing, I don't think, on the state level, because they couldn't be doing it. One of them's Manchester.
Yeah. I think if we could control this out of town thing, and because, you know, I've heard statements that other collection centers have said, take it to Monteagle,
Yeah.
they'll take anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also to go to Monteagle too, another reason I think they like to go out there, and I'm bragging on them out there for this now, it's clean, it's neat, it's easy. You just make a circle, you stop, you throw it out, you're gone. And then a lot of them are not like that. You gotta back around.
It is
I
convenient.
just think it's convenient for them, and we're getting dumped on, so to speak.
So is that all right with y'all? Have a model process and a way we can do it and all of it, and just see what we can do by the next meeting? Okay.
That's
Is that
all I
good with
got.
you? And we'll
Yeah, that's
get all
good.
that information
I just
together.
want, you know, I mentioned last time about the space, and then, you know, this has been going on a long time, it ain't gonna hurt it for a little while longer. I just don't want Lexi and Alvin, you and me, Rusty, where's he at? He already got it.
He had a wedding
No,
out
he's
of
down there,
town.
ain't he?
Yeah, no, he's out of town. I got his grandson's wedding.
Well, anyway, for us to know it and kind of think about it, you know,
We'll email him.
thought he was down there.
So, you got anything else there?
That's it, that's all I got.
Lex? No?
Yes, one thing,
Okay.
and I'll talk to you about it, but I'm gonna bring it up to the rest of council. Here at the corner of DuBois Street and going towards Tracy City, the right side of the road, I know the state mows it, but they do a shoddy job of mowing.
Mhm.
That's in our city limits.
Mhm.
And you've got a doctor's office, you've got a church, you've got, I don't know what the first one is, and the nursing home, the bridge.
Mhm.
And I think we need to take a little extra swipe up to there, maybe some weed eaters or something there, just like we do the center of town and.
Have you looked at it in the last couple of days?
Well, it's been mowed. but
Well, I
it's
talked
not-
to y'all.
They just run up at one time.
Well, that's what I told them to do because of labor. But let me ask you, somebody said that. You said whenever people work community service, and we have some people that are older, could they use a weed eater?
Sure.
Okay, that answered my question. Now, they're covered through insurance because we got the TCA law on this to make sure we didn't have to come with insurance. So that might be a possibility.
What they stated to me was if they're sentenced through the county, that county is responsible for the insurance.
Well, I don't want
It's a
that
city-
too good, because
It's
the
a
state
city
would
thing,
do it
and
all
it's ours,
together.
but
Well,
it's the sessions court.
I know.
Yeah, they'd probably under there and drop the blade and, yeah, but now, let me clarify something. I'm not saying that anything against the guys at the shop, they've got about all they can do anyway. So, I mean, I was kind of looking at, and I know the summer's about over, we still got a lot of mowing, that if we don't get, individuals that can lead, you know, that would be something we need to, I mean, I don't know what all's going on as far as how much work they're doing, but I know every time I talk to them, they're pretty busy doing something, they ain't got a lot of time to do a lot. And I don't know if it's, who's on the mowing, is Billy and,
Billy and, well, Dylan
Dylan's
does
still
it,
on
and
it?
also, Jonathan does some.
And
This-
two balls tractor, bush hog, most times across keeps
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do the bush hog.
yeah, they do that.
yeah, it's being bush hog, but I was wondering about doing a little more
They
trimming.
do it too good, those state may quit completely, they
Oh, they
might
will.
quit now.
Yeah.
Well,
But anyway, I just wanted to mention that, and we'll check into it.
I can pull out my road now, they can run over.
this brings up, and then we'll deal with a couple other things, but this weekend, I commend Rhonda and the Chamber of Commerce because, and like Lex was saying earlier, with multiple things, this was probably one of the best mountain markets that we've seen in a long time. I mean, thank God for the weather, everything just seemed to work well, but it was a good mountain
It was
market.
good.
And it was calm, it was quiet, the Church of Christ I saw ever singing. So what we did, I think I talked to all of you at a different time, because the grass had got so bad, and it was a safety issue. On Thursday, I did ask Carl, you know, because they couldn't pull themselves off, and he did pull the time, and he went up the outskirts of, you want to say, the corporate city limits where that, you know, it's really visible. Now,
Right.
we couldn't go in yards and we couldn't do everything, but Deb is getting these numbers together, her and Mark, over the last 3 years. Even though we've had our ups and downs, we've continued to increase in revenue of sales tax dollars. We do have tourists, we have visitors, and it's a presentation, and that's one of the reasons, as we continue through this term, but we're almost halfway through it, that we come up with our vision and our plan, and we execute that, because now we have good department heads, and we do as we're supposed to for the future of MONTEAGLE, whether we're here or someone else.
Right.
So some of that, and I agree with Harry, you don't want to start doing something that we're not required to, but we can't let it go so bad, it's a safety issue, it looks so bad. So that may be something we may have to work out with that zone, Alvin, because I know the next thing, it's almost like, well, you didn't mow beside of my house, but you're mowing the state road, and we're not doing that. But this, we don't have property tax, we don't charge people, you know, those things, and we have to have the sales tax dollars. And that's for people coming in, and first and foremost, safety, because I don't know, I know Lex is in that corner right there, which is that piece of property you're talking about,
Yeah.
we'll get a letter. But also where the, up from Kelly's and, you know, up from where you pull into, was it Lane Avenue?
My road, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it
terrible.
was, well, it was
It
really
was, it ain't
bad.
now, it's great now.
And it had, I think the state now has a contract that's 2 or 3 times a year.
They don't
I
want
heard
to-
twice.
Twice, I think so.
I've heard it twice.
So then we have to look at,
And I'm not saying mowing all the state's mowing. That's just a section, I think, through there with those there and what's there in that corner, and it attaching to this, and that's a main thoroughfare there. It needs to be cleaned up.
do you think that maybe we could go to, now, we know that Life Point in it, and that Southern Tennessee Medical Center was recently sold to a corporation. I don't know if they're profit or non-profit, but I know it's a new corporation. Now, I do know the bridge is run by a private corporation. And of course, there is a church there, which is totally different. But maybe we could go to them and ask them if they could help them then occasionally, if we had to pick it up, because it is in front of their businesses too. I mean, in that way, because a lot of businesses, if you notice, they've started mowing in front of theirs a little bit farther because the state's not mowing. And see what we can do about it, but we do have to be a little tidier with it. And Carl and them, they took it Thursday and
Well,
said,
they're doing a great job. I'm nothing to say about calling them. And that's adding more to their plate. And they'll probably tell me about it, but that's all.
well, they did it though. They just did a swap because I asked them if you would take it deep enough to where people could see it where it looked clean. That's what they did. This
That
past
road
week.
look good.
Yeah.
Mine, it comes bad, my road, I wouldn't even stop, I just mashed gas and hope I didn't pull out and run nobody, because I get away from it. Run sheet.
But we'll work on it and also talk to the businesses, and that's something with rezoning and looking at areas. We have got to have, safety first, but a town, whenever people come through it, that, it's not dangerous, for lack of, as you say, it looks neater. So as we move forward. So, 911, report. Wanda is not here. But she does have a report in here, and I also have the bids we had before on the roof down. If you look at her report, it's in here somewhere.
I don't see it. I just got the.
Yeah, she's got a little statement. It says, report for July 2014. At this time, all operations are going good at dispatch center. We have a major roof leak in the conference room, and it has now progressed into the dispatch office. We are undergoing CAD updates, and I recently met with the state 911 representative for area. We have answered 917 total calls at this time. I can't remember, several weeks ago, Virgil, do you remember, it's 2 weeks ago? When there was a major leak down there and we all went and moved the fireworks that were stored in there. And Lex, you can probably tell me, was there 3 quotes, and you asked for 3 and only got 2, correct? And this is going back to, we've repaired and repaired and repaired and patched and patched and patched. And before there's damage, there's 2, the barrel roof's one, correct? The shingle roof's this one, is that another one? This note I'm not sure about.
There's 2 roofs down there on the 911 and police station.
Mm-hmm.
This is the barrel roof, which is a fabric that goes across basically the 911 center.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you get toward the police department, there's a little hip roof there, which is actually shingle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not this barrel roof. So it's a combination of this one and this one to equal the 25.
So that's both roofs and that's both roofs, right?
Right.
And is there another one? No, there's only 2.
We only got
All we could get was 2 bids on replacing the roof down there. And I know it's an investment, but whether that building's used for a first responders building or it's used as a community center later, everybody knows what police do. And we've spent, and I could probably get Mark over the last 2 years, 3 years, we've spent several $1,000s. Just thankful that nothing's got damaged, but something gets damaged in there, there's a whole lot of problems. So Harry's got the 2. We did ask for 3. It would have to be run in the paper, for 7 days.
There's a couple of even companies in Monteagle, we haven't got one on
But
them.
they didn't submit. Lex is one, you submitted it to everyone whenever you asked for it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Whenever you called. This is for both roofs, that's the total for that, and that's the total for both roofs. And these are all we got, but we would have to read the paper again, because of the amount. But we're gonna have to do
I'm
something.
just saying, Johnny or McFarland didn't want to? I mean, one of them's from Monteagle, but
And you talked to them.
one of them's from Chattanooga.
Well, the ones I talked to weren't particularly interested in it at that time. It was very difficult to get anybody over there that was willing to put in the time to come back with the square footage and the recommendation really is what needed to be done.
I mean,
Patching is one
if you
thing.
ask for it, that's fine. I'm just saying that I would particularly like to have somebody in Montego down it myself.
Well, here,
If
I
we
don't have an
could.
issue, I don't have an issue with that at all. The buildings are there, everybody knows where they are, it was posted, and this is what we got.
Well, that's what I'm asking, were they asked? That's
Yeah,
what
well,
I'm
he
asking. I didn't-
asked.
I didn't say you didn't do it, I just said, I'm asking, did they know about it? That's all I'm saying.
Here's what we'll have to do even if we approve it here, because the amount, we'll have to read the paper for at least 7 days. It gives them another opportunity not to exceed that amount. And now, I know that these were over a month ago, wasn't it, that they were collected?
But I myself, I'm gonna tell you what I've said all along. It's really gonna be hard to get me to vote yes on spending that kind of money on that old building. It's gonna be real hard to get me to say yes. I've said it all along. You know, spend that kind of money on that building, it'd fall in.
And I know they've been.
I think the roof's on the part for it to fall in.
Well, that's, I
Now,
do
that
too,
building's
so I'll
900
just
years
say,
old.
I
here's,
know it is.
It's
Here's-
900 years old.
But we don't have another one, we gotta fix it.
here's the specs on it. I mean,
There's space, he knows all about roofing.
but we're going to have to do something with that building. It says to clear the surface, to apply the spray, to primer it, and to inch coat the squares. So I guess this is like a rubber roofing, roof membranes, is what it's called, John. You can look at it. You probably know.
You know about it, well, we don't.
And this is
I don't.
both shingle and the membrane top. So I think one's like a piece of fabric, for lack of a better term, and then one's part of it shingles. So, but back to our problem. We've spent thousands of dollars on a roof and it's still not fixed. Something's going to happen. I mean, there's tiles falling down, there's lights. That last time Virgin was almost coming on the light fixture, we had to call Randall and wires popping. As Virgin, Randy and myself and Wanda moved off firewood. So something needs to be done. And the rest of the building's good, isn't it?
That leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
So, we can table it to the next meeting, we could run it again and get someone else to go look at it, but we're going to have to do something soon.
I know everybody just started hearing me say this, but you can take a hog and put a suit on it, you take a suit off, still hog. That building's so old, and I just hate to see us spend that kind of money on it. I ain't gonna say we're not gonna do it, I ain't gonna say it don't need to be done, I'm just saying, boy, it's real hard to.
Then what are our options?
Well, the only
We don't
other.
really have any, that building next door used to be the post office, it's for sale.
It ain't big.
I've never called down there and,
Yeah.
well, what would it need to be bigger for? We had dispatchers.
Well, it's the police department dispatching
Police
99
department.
Well,
yards.
you,
It's
they
the
still have an
conference
office in there, I mean, it's that big, but, you know, I'm just saying, I ain't spend that kind of money on an old building. That's just all I'm saying, I mean, I'm not gonna say it ain't gonna happen, but it's just real hard to think about spending $25,000 on a building that's that old.
room. Okay, here's what we'll do then. Hopefully it won't rain, we won't need buckets. Because, I mean, I'm honest with it, Virgil, it was that bad last time. That I will get, and we will run this in the paper to see what we can get, repair and replacement for 14 days. Then we'll come back and see what's the best alternative to do it. We're gonna have to do something, preferably before winter, because snow and ice ain't good for a roof, and it will melt too when it burns. It has before.
Did you go up on the roof? Did you
Me?
go up?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
That roof's been botched so many times, and you know what that is.
Oh, no, this was
That's where
replacement.
it's leaking, it's been botched up, is what it's been done.
Yeah, this is replacement of the roof.
It's
This
not
isn't
botching,
botches.
that's
No,
not-
this is.
No, that's not botching it, but I'm
No.
saying we have botched it so many times,
Well,
is
that's-
what's wrong with it.
So, if that's agreeable, like I said, we'll hopefully use buckets till then, and we'll have something at the next meeting, but we're gonna have to do something. Does that work?
You want me to go up there and work on the roof?
No. We need to keep you down here with the water. You're doing a good job. We wanna keep you, we wanna keep you healthy and not hurt.
I mean, just between now and then, you want me to go up there and patch the roof?
He's good
I
at it.
think it got patched. If it didn't, yeah, we can see if we can patch it, but we've gotta get something done, because, you know, patching it.
He's a roofer from way back.
Is the water
So
still
if you want
running in
to, we'll
Dwayne's old
check on
office?
some
The
tomorrow.
training room office, is it still running in there?
No,
One
that's
time,
not.
Air conditioning, new air conditioning.
He's got air
Conference room
conditioning.
and the dispatch now.
And that's something else,
And in
I'm
that
talking about
kitchen
just
way
going up
there,
there for me.
you see where the sheet rock
Fix
is
it till
falling
they
apart.
figure
Yeah.
out what's gonna be.
You're talking about
get something
just repairing it.
running something.
yeah, if you can do that and make sure it's okay just till the next meeting, it'd work. No, now it's in the front conference room. Whenever we went in that day, it was all through the conference room going through dispatch. You could see it, it was falling down because the fireworks were stored in there. So what Brandy and Virgil and one that I did, we picked them all up, put them in the corner, so they wouldn't get wet, and put them on tables. So it wasn't even leaking back there, it was leaking up front.
A complete roof
Which-
failed one time, remember when it failed?
And a portion of it fell the other day, if you
Yeah,
recall.
it's starting to do it now,
So-
you can see where it's rotting.
But I mean, we're-
Yeah, I mean, I realize that's an old building, but that building's gonna be when we're all gone, so.
So we'll just have to
Unless
figure it
we
out the
tear it
next
down.
meeting.
Unless
Johnny,
there's a
you'll
good
check
wind
on
come
it,
through.
and then we'll check on it next week, and then get the bids on the rest of it. That's all we can do. Okay. Mountain Goat Trail, we do have, of course, it's approved. We haven't received official notice, but they are hoping to do a groundbreaking sometime the 1st of August.
It's on the email today.
August, is that the one, October the 2nd?
August the 6th or 7th.
Well, the one I got one from the land trust the 2nd, so I didn't see it this
It
afternoon.
was all out of the informer's office.
Okay. Well, now, the enhancement grant, that's for the pre-bid conference on bid farmers. I saw the letters today, because I came up there and met with them. Deb had them printed up for me. I didn't see the other one. But we need to discuss, Neil Hansen talked to us today that we got our award for enhancement. Neil had prepared a contract, and he said they felt comfortable working with Farmer and Associates again if we want to utilize them for this next enhancement grant. He wants to come out and just sit down, go over it, he's got the contract ready. I said, if you're comfortable with them, you and Lisa, then we can be comfortable with them. That way we can get our projects, all of them going and start. So, does anyone have an issue with continuing to work with them? I mean, no, we're not approving them of the process. Neil just wants to get the, and Neil Hansen, of course, was with the office of DOT. That had to check the data government was in this with the $216,000 for sidewalks and crosswalks.
I don't have an issue.
Alvin?
No.
Okay, so we'll just call Neil and get him to come up here and move forward with us, and then we'll approve what we need to. Also, we owe, and I thought Deb had printed it out, but I don't think it's in here. And that's neither. We owe Richard Harding, it's $9,430. It's less than $9,500, and that's by the liquor by the drink tax. You know, from 2004 and 2007, which wasn't approved. So we need to make a motion to go ahead and pay them that, so we can get that resolved. Then, the portion in which that Harvey's working with Mark Raines, he's deducting mowing the grass, he's deducting things we've done for the school. We will have to pay that remainder later. Of course, this has been going on, what, like a year and a half, at least. So if we need to make just the proper procedure of approving, not, I think it's $9,430, the amount Harvey sent today, and I don't see the email in here. It was later this afternoon, but,
I mean, we owe it, we gotta pay it.
yeah, but not to exceed the $9,500. I know it's less than $9,500, but I think it's like, I know it's $9,430, something like that.
$93.25, I think.
It's like something we're paying Marion County.
We have to pay,
It's a
no,
liquor
this is Richard
tax.
Harding. It's that liquor by the drink tax. The law went into effect 2004.
No, but I mean, where's the money going there?
It has to go to Richard Harding High School, not to Marion County High School, Richard Harding. I mean, we have no choice. That's just their portion. But Harvey said we need to go ahead and approve it so we could write the check and pay.
I won't play dumb on this. How come it happened? I mean, I'm not sure how it happened.
In 2004, the state implemented a law. In 2007, apparently they executed. The state receives all liquor by the drink taxes, and then they send us their portion. Well, apparently the state didn't administer their own law, and they didn't hold any money out.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I knew this was happening. I just trying to figure out how it happened. That is.
Well, it happened to everybody across counties and cities across the state. The thing that we were fortunate we have in the county firm, that when this first started happening, they started depreciating money and setting it aside. So we were able to take care of ours once we found out what the amount was. So that one is a state question. I can't answer.
Then if that's, we got to try to make sure, I make the motion, we go into it.
Not to exceed the.
$9,500.
So do we have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Okay. None opposed? 3, 4. Okay. All right, now second reading ordinance of a budget amendment 0714. And you should have this in your packet.
We've already done the first reading, I make a motion we just pass on the second reading.
Let me find it, Mary,
There it is.
That's 0714, and it's for the fiscal year 2013, 2014. As Harry said, we can go down through it and read it on, which it was a total decrease in section 1. The amendment, increase of $81,800, decrease of $48,200. Then the second section's general funds, expenditure changes, increase. The total was for planning salary, employee salary, Medicare, local planning services, police department, education and training police, natural gas and propane, fire department, water maintenance, toys for tots, furniture, machinery, equipment, street department salaries, repairs and maintenance, convenience center salaries, social security, Medicare, grant for Mountain Goat Grill. And that total amendment would have been $37,220. And was there another section to it?
That's all I have.
Okay. So this would be the second reading, ordinance 0714.
Do you have a motion?
Do I have a motion? Did you say?
Yeah, I made a motion.
Harry made a motion. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? All right. And then we have a resolution for the TML safety grant, and this is something that we applied for. We got it last year for boots and coats and things that TML provided us the information, but we have to approve the resolution, which is only one reading. Deb did go over it with the folks that submitted to us. It says, Safety Partners Loss Control Matching Safety Grant Program. It's whereas safety at mobility of the employees of the town of Monteagle is of great importance, whereas the effort shall be made to provide a safe and a hazard-free workplace for the town of employees. And then whereas the pool seeks to encourage and establish a safe workplace, offering Safety Partners Loss Control Matching Safety Grant Program. And then basically, we will submit a list like boots, coats, combs, things like that. Deb does have the list. She went in with spoke with Chester Garden, prepared that, and then we need to approve this to be able to receive. It's up to $5,000 we can get when we match it. So, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Then next, we do have a resolution, 1407, and suicide prevention. This is something the state and the governor's doing. Someone brought this back. It's in September. The month of September is suicide prevention awareness. It tells how many folks in Tennessee has died, how many lives are lost with suicide, and it's just declaring that month is suicide prevention awareness month.
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Now, the other thing we had discussed, we've talked about it, and I've been talking to Beth Jones, and I've sent this to you guys in email, is the town having a retreat. I know Alexa brought it up a couple of years ago, we never did it. It was going off-site, truly working. We've spent thousands of dollars on visions and missions. We've done well. We have 27 more months in this term. We're about halfway through. But the council now has great department heads, policies and procedures getting cleaned up. And we actually sit down, and the Southeastern Development will not charge for the facilitation. They did the research. It would be in Chattanooga at the Embassy Suite. Be for the council. Their spouses are welcome to come and to go. I mean, they would not participate in any of the sessions. The way that Beth had set this up, and I'm referring to Beth Jones, she would be the facilitator, her and 3 to 4 of her staff members. They do this for other members. They will not charge us, we'll just pay for their fee. And they're, of course, travel while they're there, but they do not charge us for facilitating. Be a Thursday afternoon. Alvin, I know we were talking about dates. We'd have to find one that you could be there. We'd work that night till about till 8 o'clock. And then it would be all day Friday, and it would be Saturday morning. Total cost for this, and this is a high estimate, based upon, the rooms, the food. The only thing they included in this was best that they do it with theirs, there's a lookouts game over there, if everybody, went to go to that, it's $9 per person to go to that. That's the only activity that would be included. So the estimate for everything, which is high, and of course paying for the food for those folks as well, would be $3,000 or less. But without a vision impairs, and that comes from a good source, and we really need to define that and get it done. Because who knows where we're gonna be in, 27 months. We've done well, but we need to do better. So,
And like I told you, I have no problem with that. Beth and her team, I would say.
yeah, it's our team.
Has
That's about,
done, what else could they do for us? They've done a lot of stuff for us, and still trying to do more. And if there's something we can do better, I'm not against that. It's just, I feel the dates that they, if I can find a week where this is going on, that I can take off like a couple of days.
can you check your
But
schedule?
I'm check, and I'll let you know probably tomorrow.
So what's the will of board of doing the other retreat?
I have no problem with it. I just got a problem with the dates also, not for me, but my wife won't be able to go at all. I can go, she can, and she don't have to.
Let's could come over to some, if it's a Chattanooga, I know we talked about, could you do that? I mean, I don't think anybody could really, take off. But, if we could find a day, is it agreeable, because we need to let Beth and them
If you
to
can,
know.
write me on legs, we don't do nothing.
If we can agree, if we're going to go ahead and do it, we need to let Beth and them know, and they will find alternative dates if they can schedule it for us, because they're gonna prepare this, send us an agenda, send us the information, and they'll be the one that works with
Well,
us.
see what date you go with, because now, it doesn't matter for me, exactly me, because I'd like her to go too, but and then I can go without her.
How many, it would be just us, or how many different?
No, right now it would be, what Beth is recommending, that she worked with the council for this first session. Then they will come over here and we'll work with department heads, then employees, and then extended people so we can execute this. Because if you tried to take everyone, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So it'd be
Then,
a different step.
yeah, this would be the initial step of creating the visions, the goals, the policy. We have a job according to the charter, and then we're actually executing that, and then it would migrate into the next level, to the next, and part of it could be done here. So, but it wouldn't exceed the $3,000 limit, and probably less than. But we need to let them know so they can come up with dates, so they can start preparing, because they do this for other people besides just us.
Well, you need to see what you can do before we do anything, because you're the one that matters most. And then Rusty, he'll be there. He's down there asking. You on this side of you? That's just,
I'm not calling them
So could you come up with some dates that we could
Yep.
give them if it's approved?
Yes.
I mean, we need to let them know if we're gonna do it or not, so it has to be approved. We can't just do it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So you're gonna say, yeah, so you wanna make a motion to approve it pending upon dates? So we can contact them or not?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'm sorry.
Right. Any discussion?
Now, that's pending.
The dates that, yours, do you have any dates like that you couldn't? So it's pending basically
Yeah,
our
let's go
dates?
work, yeah, we can go anytime.
No.
Don't go tonight.
I'm just saying, no, we can't do it. They're not ready for it. So it's just pending the dates you can go if it could work with Beth, correct?
Right.
All right, any discussion?
No.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, 3-1. Okay. Okay. All right, now, upcoming events. Harry, the movie was canceled because of rain, so the next movie, it looks like that was scheduled, was gonna be the 22nd of August. All right, so the next movie in the park will be the 22nd, staying with Madagascar, and maybe a Western. And then if there's music, I've talked to David, maybe we'll get him to come and do something that afternoon. He
I
said
don't
he-
think we'll be done for one, because it won't start at 9, and I don't think there'll be any stay back till midnight.
And so we'll do Madagascar and go from there. It'll be announced, it'll be the
I mean, we
next.
can have another one there, just in case.
Okay, and then, of course, we do have a band and we have fireworks on Saturday, August the 30th for Labor Day at the park again. And David will be shooting the fireworks, we
Yeah,
contracted with him.
yeah.
And we, yeah, and do we have the band already for that? Or do you?
I think I've already asked him about that one. I'll have to call him, make sure.
We have to check on that and see, I know the fireworks are.
He was open, I remember asking him, he was open that night, and I believe we went ahead and booked, and he called in the morning and said,
All right, but the event's already scheduled for Labor Day weekend, which will be August 30th, and fireworks at dark, and this will all be at the ballpark.
yeah,
Okay, and a movie on the 22nd.
yeah,
So does anyone else have any announcement?
make a motion to adjourn.
I'll say.
You have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Michael said he had another set of those.